Hey guys, Everett's Live Music giving a shout out today. It's the 25th of June, marked as a Remembrance Day for the Lttl Bg Hrn. We'll jump right into the idea of that today, and we'll give that a moment, a thought, and unfortunate soldiers from the United States died, but more importantly that we were fighting probably at that level with natives from this country and this continent. Unfortunate we couldn't find ways through peace and stuff, and through most of it I think it has been the greed that drove the whole idea of most of it to one degree or another. We're very young then. It's a long time ago. I think about that sometimes. I think about not so much the right and wrong and who I'm cheering for or something, because that's unfortunate, the whole idea of all of it, but like the natives and the way they stood up, and their beliefs and different things. Bullets won't hurt you, or just a whole different level of thinking and life in general, and the way that history has gone. It's important, I think, for us to remember it. And it's unfortunate everybody that died that day. I think more natives probably died than soldiers. I think that was probably the case every time. I mean, you're running against machine guns and got some cannons and stuff. So while they had some rifles they stole and horses they stole without saddles. A wild time, the Wild West. The paper labels it today as that day. That's something I think about. I think, and we say I don't ever think we should ever let the past go. We should definitely recognize it for what it is, what we've seen, and what we've been told down the line, and try to tell it as truthful as possible without filtering it. And I don't know why anybody would ever want to forget what has happened. That would be very important not to. But an unfortunate day for the deaths of all those people that died there, and then I believe it was to follow the Wounded Knee massacre and stuff. So, and that was about it, I think, for the natives. But there is a great degree of always in me, I'm going to always think about that idea of what if we could have blended so much better a way of life that lives with the planet and stuff. So thoughts that circle in my head quite often, and not such a direct line that it seems the Europeans that came, and such a direct line for this more, and not really, to one degree, maybe perhaps sharing some of the old ways, but very little of it. Think about that a little bit today, and then you say, well, that's then, and all those times are gone. But today, even to the day, this is I think they mark it as the month for the gays and lesbians and bis, and I don't know all those right terms, and transsexuals and stuff. But sometimes we see that they're nightclubs and stuff are targeted, and I don't know about what it's like to really belong to much of any of that groups of people. I'm a little bit of a loner, but just like everybody else in society, getting through the day. Maybe there'll be a group of us someday. We're just kind of getting along, and like everybody else, they probably feel that way too. But if you belong to a church, I think it's like your church gang, and then maybe the other groups, they got their little gangs, and you're not maybe a gang banger gang, but I don't even know what any of that would mean, right? There seems to be quite a few groups. Good, bad, I don't really know always, but I do think about that. We still do carry on with some pretty bad stuff and ideas, and somebody along the line wants to hurt a lot of people in some spots, and sometimes it seems it's targeted for a certain group of people or something per se, but we don't always get all the answers. But important to remember that not Wounded Knee, but the Lttl Bg Hrn today. And that was pretty much the end of the natives. It was not to be much further down the line before Sitting Bull would finally be the last chief to surrender, in the Dakotas and the Black Hills, their area, and then they gave up more there for gold and stuff. It's always been that way. They ran the Martin Luther King "Have a Dream" speech here recently, and I always joke about that one being like, maybe if we would have met, I'd be like, in like the future of all the children and the way this is going, and we're taking way too much at once and all this other. He'd be like, brother, I'm trying to get my people a drink of water, a place to sleep, and the equal opportunity to vote and get a job, And I just think we've so been streamlined into that way of life. Some of my messages ask for, would you imagine something different ever? A different way of life? For all of us, but powerful speaking, his thoughts, his feelings. Sometimes I see and feel some of that maybe resonates through some of the words I share, I'm not a historian on his history, but I definitely remember in the 15th of January being his birthday. I try not to forget about that one. It's an amazing thing. The most unfortunate thing was that he was a very educated man, as I think some of the others were too, like perhaps Sitting Bull and some other chiefs too. You're very educated, and you learn the ways and different ideas of what would be said to be, I guess, the whites or the Caucasians, in order to try to find a way to get along. It seems like so many times we've downed the really intelligent people of what we have decided as the others, or I don't know how all of it's kind of weird, but they are taken away, and it's weird because they're educated and the people believe in them, and then when that's gone, that's always going to be hard to recover from. Just a shout out today. Yeah, take it easy, man. I had some humor yesterday. If it wasn't funny at all, I don't know. Hit me back. We're all a little different in our own ways in life, right? And life just happens. But maybe they'll be the nobodies someday. But that are somebodies, because we're everybody, and we're looking for a better future if we try hard enough together and never forget our history. And later.